Salutations, planetary dwellers. The link was a little late tonight. YouTube was fussy, but here we are, back in the saddle again with the mystery, the magic of the star tetrahedron, the essence of power, which is the focusing of attention. When you go to a movie and they turn the bright light on, it is focusing attention, unwavering. And what it shines through is the film, and the film is then the lower triangulation of imagination, love. And so whatever we focus upon and bring attention to, we're sending light rippling through it. Both the aspect of what we would call love and joy and creativity and imagination, splendor, feelings of prosperity, loving relationships, all those amazing, wonderful things we could name. And it increases them and magnetically draws them to us. If we are focusing attention upon worries, woe is me, it's a difficult day, things aren't going well, life is a bore, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year, oh, woe. It's like Eeyore, poor Eeyore. And because we're focusing and bringing light to those imagination feelings, it literally then ripples out from us and creates it. And then we experience it in our life, and if we didn't want it, we think, oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. But I can assure you, as the theme today is of mistake, mistake, you have never made a mistake nor can make a mistake. You're simply gathering information. That's the key to a planet where free will is being developed, honed and refined. There's no sin, there's no mistake, there's simply cause and effect, which we call karma. And you are the controller of your karma, your destiny, by what you simply bring attention to. And in the past, because you wanted to learn in the now, maybe about anger and frustration, you probably had a lifetime where you then were belligerent, maybe hurtful, maybe harmful, maybe overshadowing other people around you with dominance. And you come back this lifetime, cause and effect, and you receive back in your early childhood from maybe a dominant father, maybe a brother that or a sister that is overshadowing and supremely negative, and you then feel frustration and anger that you don't get to live your joy and your creative happiness. Well, it wasn't a mistake that you did that in your prior life. It was simply learning through free will. If I take someone else's right to free will and overshadow them with my dominance, I will come back and I will receive that. And so it's a learning, a growing, never a mistake. At the same time, if we feel, again, in error that we made a mistake, we always did an exercise in our classes where I would invite people to see the being that they truly are, the soul, that has really been orchestrating all of your lifetimes, creating those moments in the past where you were dominant and belligerent, because the soul wanted to learn what that feels like through you today. We call it the past, we call this the now, but it's really just one big movie that the soul is orchestrating, and we're watching it frame by frame in the now. As we begin to expand our consciousness, and we're no longer so trapped in the now, in what is happening to us, but being more the observer, quiet mind, expanding into the feeling, I am this field of consciousness, I am the soul, I am the being that has been creating this entire movie sequence. We can begin to feel ourselves more and more as that soul, which is the golden frequency of light. White light is the light of mind, it's the light of illumination. We have illumination, but not imagination. There's no movie, there's no feeling. But when the light of mind and love come together, it creates gold. The sunlit warmth of what we call the Christ energy. Christ being the sun, the crystalline structure of the star tetrahedron. It's all one and united very beautifully. And as we begin to expand our consciousness into knowing and feeling actually the embodiment of this golden frequency within, because we've been meditating and releasing the old karma, because we've learned to love ourselves. We found the supposed mistake and realized I would never do that again. That's love. And because you know that you will only now act in love, karma is dispelled. You didn't make a mistake. You simply learn from some moment in time, space. But in this particular exercise in our workshops, if you still held that feeling of unforgiveness, we allowed ourselves to feel in the quietness of our meditation that I am this golden frequency of light, and I've been creating this timeline of my reality. Not only the now, but all the past, even the past within this lifetime. And because I am the movie director and have created the whole sequence, if I feel myself as the soul, the golden being, I can then imagine myself in any of the timeline of this movie that's been created. And with that, you can then feel yourself repositioning yourself in some moment where you think that you have erred terribly or made a mistake. But then you show up as the soul and you begin to talk to the personality that you as the soul created to gather that information. And you say to that personality, I am the soul that created this moment in time space. I have gathered together the individuals, created the scene in co-production with other beings, souls, who needed to experience this moment in time for their particular information. And they may think they're the victim, and you may think that you're the perpetrator. It's all part of the gathering of simply energy. Because I am the soul that invited you and all the other participants here, I can now open my heart and I can say to you, it was not a mistake. It was a purposeful, dynamic moment in time where you learned about anger and frustration that has now come to fruition over here in the right hand. And in that fruition, you are now free of anger and frustration. It was a purposeful moment. And in that, I invited individuals as the soul to feed them opening their heart and knowing it's from the heart of creation that we create our reality. This is the open doorway of the star tetrahedron. It's through which the soul creates your realities, both the causal of things out of balance as well as all things graceful and glorious. Never a mistake, but simply learning. And because it is the soul that created that personality to gather information, the soul can simply open heart chakra and, like a movie playing backwards, with love, reach out to that personality and simply draw all the light of that moment, all that information back into the soul. And the illusion of that moment in time is simply gone. It is nothing more than a light show. And that's all creation is. It's simply the dance of light with feeling and love and focused attention. And it collapses the waveform of source into particles of manifestation. And then we can measure it with the mind and say, I see color, I see form, I see dimension, I see reality. But it's the mind that is simply interpreting the waveform that has been collapsed because attention has been focused. And when you're able to completely withdraw your attention because you have learned in love what that moment was for and about, it simply becomes light once again. But even though it has become light once again, you have gathered information and wisdom which expands the consciousness of creation. What a marvelous and amazing light show. And that's all it is, a light show. And so when we look out in the world today and we observe reality, it's just source, it's just God, whatever you should like to call it, in waveforms of oneness, just like the ocean. But the ocean can have small waves and big waves and currents running through it. It's the same with the waveform of source, spirit. It can literally collapse itself into a multifaceted array of beings, of planets, of stars, of creation. And it's simply some exalted consciousness collapsing the waveforms of reality into these structures, into these forms that consciousness is now within, dancing and playing and evolving and gathering information. Just as planet Earth has a supreme consciousness, Gaia, that is evolving this entire planet. And we are co-participants in this light show because we are also circumscribed points of consciousness within this greater field of Earth consciousness, within the field of solar sun consciousness, within galactic consciousness that is evolving. And it's very few planets that have the right through free will to learn through error, to make choices, to love, to expand consciousness, to develop creation in a whole new possibility. Because when Source was first creating reality, everything that was unfolding was simply the painting of Source, knowing every brushstroke, every moment in time, space, waiting for the moment when consciousness was developed enough that there could be beings upon a planet, that Earth Gaia was developing and unfolding with flora and fauna and life, and oceans and water, and soil for bodies that consciousness could begin to get into. And then through free will, make choices, cause and effect. The light show of cause and effect. Believing we may have made a mistake, believing we may have sinned, from our religious and higher fascist and hierarchy things. You have sinned, you're bad. Oh, bullshit. Simply cause and effect gathering information. But they don't know that because they've not evolved far enough yet to develop that. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone at some time in their evolution has been at where they have been. You've gone through the whole gamut of every possible play on earth. You've been the good, the bad, the light, the dark, the warrior, the servant, played it all. Gathering information that have brought you to this amazing place where you know that the golden frequency of the star tetrahedron, the focusing of attention upon exalted imagination and love, creates living sunlight that edifies and expands creation, but then also gives you free will to be a creator being in the image of Source God, to now expand in your unique way, the way that you would develop creation, the way that you would co-create with the divine. What a marvelous thing. And this is our planet. And yet there's a whole cornucopia of that which is chaos, but out of it, it has simply been developing light and love. You and I all came from chaos, believing we had made mistakes, being judged for being sinners. But then we learned to settle into the emotion that was coming forth from that feeling, that place within the body, and going through it and not disliking the emotion or judging it or criticizing it. Not a mistake, simply information. And then settling through it and finding what inside was playing and acting and being, but the soul, but yourself, in its simplicity and joy, creating. And now because you love yourself and realize you would never want to hurt or harm or destroy, that it is your joy to serve. It is your joy to edify life. That every moment that you can, you're looking for moments to edify and to bring joy and to bring more happiness and peace. Not through manipulation, but simply the radiance of your joy. You have learned from your mistakes to take action only in love because it's joyful. It creates childlike splendor. You become like a child. It's the wonderful adage, become a child and enter the kingdom of heaven. Because a child is creative, joyful, adventurous, always excited and enthused, bubbling over with magic. And that's what we begin to live as adults, because the soul has been purified through its mistakes to so love all of its action, that action will only be righteous, true, and beautiful, edifying creation. The one light that simply breathes through all creation. There's nothing but one light, one source, one God, one energy. I think it's quite hilarious sometimes as I sit and think that Even on the planet, we all evolved, everything on the planet evolved from one-celled amoebas. And through making choices of evolution, we then diversified, but it's all you. It's just you. And if you dislike it or judge it or criticize it, it's like cutting your toe off. Now, how does that feel? Fortunately, I've never had the pleasure, at least this lifetime. But that's the truth of it. There's only one life being developed on this planet to create free will and creator beings who can edify and expand consciousness, to stand as co-creators with God, Source, whatever you'd like to call it. So edifying new possibilities in creation, creation that even the divine has even thought of. But through parts of itself having free will, it goes, oh, well, let me imagine this way. Great. And because it will be imagined in love and righteousness and goodness and grace and joyful childlike splendor, the universe will become ever more loving and filled with light and dancing and exciting and outrageous. And we still have, they say, at least 10, 15 more billion years for this particular universe. We've only been at it for maybe 12, 13 billion. We're not even halfway there. So it's going to look pretty doggone good. I think it already looks outrageously amazing. It's like I was out walking on the grass yesterday and there was this beautiful little white flower with a beautiful little yellow button in the middle. And it was just sparkling in the sun. And I was captured by the beauty and the joy and the just amazing life within that little flower. And then you have a chance to begin to expand out and see the trees and the water and the sunset and birds and dolphins and ad infinitum. We are so, so, so blessed and have never made a mistake. So we can all get over ourselves there. So one of the things, of course, that we do that helps us expand our relationship with the breath of spirit is when we're breathing in, we know that the open doorway, the very center of the star tetrahedron, is within the heart, and it opens into the void. From out of the void, creation began. Source simply emanated an ah, it was a vibration, the A-U-M, and that vibration created wave. Waveform created energy, energy created mass. And then it was mirrored into love, wisdom, and action, which is the star tetrahedron. And as that first principle, the crystalline structure of the Christ, the crystalline form of the star tetrahedron was created, emanation from source inside out began. That was the beginning of manifestation. Everything in the universe began from that. And those who know how to hone and refine themselves, their consciousness, into that structure of light, focused attention, and love, they become creator beings. And so when we bring our attention to the open doorway and breathe in, we're breathing in the void, the infinite possibilities, the breath of God from inside out. And then with gentle exhale, we're holding attention upon its now sparkling, effervescent, dancing light, gifting the universe with love. And that's our breath work for about 5 minutes. I'll take you through that. So, breath is life. So we simply close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. I am the consciousness surrounding and interpenetrating into the body. This is my form. I can feel within my form space and openness. I can feel the form light and airy. Not ungrounded, but very present in my consciousness. And I can bring my attention, my consciousness to the heart chakra, the sternum. And with in-breath, breathing in deeply and slowly, I am summoning Source from inside out, the open doorway of the heart. And with gentle exhale, focusing upon sparkling, effervescent living light through every cell and tissue of my body, my form, enlivening. And light flowing out into the world, my gift. I am the light. Observing attention upon breath from the open doorway. Feeling the breath of Source from inside out. The void is formless and it rushes through the open doorway. And like the physical sun becomes sparkling and dancing living light. It's why the illuminated being Jesus said, I am the light. By simply focusing consciousness upon the breath of Source God, it becomes light. Just as the sun is a living being that feeds and nourishes our planet and fuels your body, I am the light. No truer words were ever spoken when you say, I am the light. Breathing slowly and deeply, letting the body expand and let go. And with each breath, from the open doorway, Source rushes into this dimension. And consciousness collapses the waveform into living light. All stars within creation are simply focusing source into living light. I am the light. And another deep breath or two. Then slowly allowing yourself to come back into the now. A whole set of new stars on the planet, light beings. The course mystery and the magic of the star tetrahedron, the very creative structure of the universe, being honed in consciousness and light within, around, and through us. And in our meditation, we simply sit quietly at the open doorway, knowing I am the field of consciousness. This is my form, my body, my experience within dimensional reality, but I am consciousness. And I gently bring my attention and see upper triangulation moving left to right, then lower triangulation right to left, creating a vortex as this movement takes place, opening the doorway from which source arises forth. I will talk you through the meditation and join with you, and we will create light activation. So once again, closing the eyes. Knowing I am the field of consciousness. Holding the body in molecular form to purpose myself within dimensionality. I am the field of consciousness. I sit at the open doorway of the heart chakra, the entry into the void. And I imagine and feel up above me the powerful triangulation of attention and focus moving gently left to right clockwise. I bring my attention to the triangulation of mother, love, with point into the earth moving right to left. Mother beneath, Spirit Father above, in rotation creating the sun, the open doorway within the heart, the living light. I am the sun. I am light. And I will join with you and we will create light activation.
And slowly returning into what we perceive as the now. Perception. Thank you for perceiving reality with me tonight. The dance of the light fantastic. Enjoy your good selves, and we shall see you soon. Ciao.